Team Member Tales. Here at Westminster Palms, we really do have the best employees. And Team Member Tales is all about telling their stories. This week's question of the week. Tell us about a previous job that you had that we wouldn't have expected, or some type of experience you had that was just memorable. Enjoy this video.
Very first job was as a bartender at a private country club in Alabama. It was a dry county, so therefore I had to go get the liquor, had to make the liquor run. They used to call the cops, the county sheriff, and say, "Hey, Melinda's coming through, don't pull her over."
Oh my gosh, all right.
So that was it.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I don't have that. I don't have it.
You don't have anything?
No, my life is simple.
What was your first job?
I worked in a toy store.
Okay, well there you
Not
go.
very fun.
Yes, it is working with toys.
No.
Was it Toys R Us?
Katie Toys.
KB Toys, okay, so pretty big place. All right.
Well, my first job was pulling weeds at a nursery.
Okay.
$1.25 an hour.
$1.25 an hour.
Thought we were in the high cotton.
Yeah, was that in Kentucky?
That was in Lakeland.
Oh, that was in Florida.
Yeah.
Oh wow, okay.
And when we came, we found weeds that were this tall,
Oh my god.
and we brought them home with us on our bicycles and took pictures of it. It's somewhere around the house because of those tall weeds. They hadn't weeded there forever.
Oh my gosh. How old were you?
15.
Wow.
So for me, it was probably when I was a lifeguard,
Okay.
when I was in high school, and I actually had the opportunity to save a 3-year-old that had jumped in the pool with all of his clothes on, ended up having to do CPR, so that was probably my
That's awesome.
best experience as a younger professional.
Yeah. I'd like to know where that 3-year-old is now. Maybe you really changed the world.
Well, maybe I did.
I mean, you think you are.
So I've had a million jobs, I've worked all over the place, but the craziest job I ever had was in a carpet mill. I'm from Georgia, carpet country, and I was what's called a picker. Yeah, a picker.
What is that?
A picker is the person who goes through and picks all the mats out of the warehouse and gives them to the shipping department to be shipped. So I was actually part of the shipping department, but I got to drive a forklift and I got to pick mats from this huge warehouse, and it was tons of fun.
Really?
I worked with a guy named Carlos who was an illegal, and every 3 months he had a new name.
Oh wow. Okay. So a little bit of manual labor. I wouldn't have thought that.
A lot of manual labor.
Wow. How old were you when you did that?
I was about 22.
Okay.
Hi, the first job I ever had, I worked at Wendy's. And I worked there for one day, and my sister was the manager, and she fired me
Oh my
because
gosh.
I wanted to stay home and watch whatever happened to baby Jane. And my father said it was okay, and my sister said no, and she fired me. That's my first job.
That's a great story.
I was a dishwasher at a Mexican restaurant when
Okay.
I was 14.
14. Was it your first job?
Yeah.
All right. That's a good one.
All right, so when I was 16 years old, I worked at a Carvel ice cream shop, and my manager used to lock me in the lock-in freezer for fun.
For fun. How, like,
Yeah, it wasn't so much fun.
no, that'd be scary. That's like one of my biggest fears. Every
Yeah.
time I walk in a freezer, I'm
Yeah.
scared that it's
It
gonna...
was petrifying.
Yeah. How long was the longest you were locked in there?
Gosh, it was so long ago, but I mean, it seems like it was hours. I'm
Oh,
sure
yeah.
it wasn't. But,
Yeah.
you know, and it could have led to my being very claustrophobic now.
Yeah, I bet. Wow.
So, one of the jobs that I had was working at Trump Tower in Chicago.
Oh
And
my-
I brought a picture of it. So it's 98 stories.
Wow.
It's huge.
That's a
Very-
great story.
It actually was so windy that you would always hear like the wind through the elevators, and it's very high. And,
How far up were you?
I
what
worked on the
floor?
14th floor.
Oh,
But
okay.
I went up to 98.
Yeah.
And we constantly had celebrities all the time, in addition to the Trumps being there. So you had to treat everyone the same. So all guests were the same. You couldn't ask for autographs. You had to treat them just the same as any other guest. But one of the really neat experiences was when the Transformers movie was filming. And we had the whole cast there, so Michael Bay, Shia LaBeouf.
Okay.
Yes, all of them were there.
Yeah.
They came in, they're walking around in robes, and it was really neat to be able to look down at the street level and see explosions and streets and cars tore up. So it was really neat. And I think one of my favorite memories was of Dr. Derek Shepherd from Grey's Anatomy. So he was in that movie of the Transformers, and he's walking around in the robe, and he's like, "Hi, I'm Patrick," and I'm like, "You're Derek Shepherd."
Yeah.
But it was a really great experience, and everyone always asks about like my time working
Yeah.
at Trump Tower.
All right,
since
great.
I was the president.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I
Whatever.
left an old job one night late in such a rage after being parked in a parking garage. Coming out, could not find my car, and when I finally found it, I left so quickly I hit a curb and got a flat tire.
Oh my gosh. Almost exact same thing happened to me.
I'll just say a phone operator.
Okay. Phone
Yeah,
operator.
I was a phone operator. They had celebrities staying at the hotel before.
Oh wow.
I worked at the Dodge Bazaar.
Okay,
So,
nice. That's
yeah,
awesome.
Being an operator, you have like firsthand with the people that are the customers that's
Yeah.
coming in.
Yes. Yeah.
So we had Miley Cyrus come. We had
Wow.
Mary J. Blige come.
Ooh.
And I think we had like a glimpse of Justin Bieber's tour truck. So
Wow.
yeah, the tour
That's
bus.
pretty cool.
It was, but it was like it
Yeah.
was crazy. We got calls,
Yeah.
like
Madonna is
fake calls.
Oh, okay.
And then they have like names, secret names
Oh my
for
god.
you to be able to
Yeah.
reach them.
Yeah.
And if you don't know the name, then you can't get through. And we just had like, you would have thought we worked at Secret Service.
Wow.
This was crazy.
Yeah, I
It was-
believe it.
I actually was a surgical assistant for 2 years in a veterinary hospital.
Wow. All right. What is the what's the strangest animal that you worked on?
The strangest animal would have been a ferret.
All right. Fair enough. That's a pretty good.
When I was 12, I shrimped on the Texas bayous.
Was that the first job you ever had?
First job I ever had, yeah.
All right.
5 o'clock in the mornings, 4 and 5 o'clock in the morning.
Was it physically demanding?
Oh, yeah.
I've never
I was only
done it.
12, yeah.
I think that's illegal.
Now?
I was with a Italian guy, old Italian guy. And when you didn't do things his way, you knew it.
Thank you.
In Largo, helicopter company.
A helicopter company.
Plane
Yeah.
parts and stuff like that. Yeah. And it's something was like, I worked there for like 90 days and I had the opportunity to stay there, but it wasn't something that I would want to do.
Okay.
So,
Did you actually get to work on the helicopters?
no,
Okay.
just parts.
Just
parts
yeah.
together.
Yeah. Interesting. All right. Helicopters.
Yes.
Okay, my first job ever was working for the Tampa Tribune.
Okay.
And a crazy story is I was doing like door-to-door salesman, and I came from this door, and up from under a car came a dog and chased me down.
Oh my
down
God.
the street, and I literally had to jump on top of a car.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
And that was like my first job.
Was it a big dog?
Big dog.
Man, you're fast though. You got away from it.
Yeah, I was.
You wanna know what's crazy? This is my first job ever.
This is your first job?
Yep,
How long have you been here?
5 years.
And this wow.
is it.
First and only.
Yep.
Okay, that is crazy. I love it. That's good. That's a good.
Hello everybody, you want to know about a crazy experience or previous job that I had that you wouldn't have expected? Well, just like Andy, I've had a million jobs and I could probably do an entire video of funny experiences just from all the jobs that I've had. But one that I had more funny experiences than any other, and that was driving Uber. So I would drive Uber usually late night because I wanted to pick up all the bar people because that was when it was most busy. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you know, all the way till 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. And so one day, I think it was actually more like a Tuesday, I just happened to be doing it overnight. And I picked up a guy, and it was in a pretty rough area of town. And he smelled pretty bad, and he just didn't look too clean. And so he gets in the car, and I'm always just like, okay, people need to get where they need to go, you know, don't worry about what's going on, just try and take them where they need to go. And I've been doing Uber for a long time, so I wasn't worried about anything. And this guy gets in the car and says, "All right, man, I got 3 stops." So it's already a little fishy. So the first stop he goes to takes me to a worse area of town in Tampa, and it's a completely pitch black city block. I don't even know how there aren't any street lights on it. And he's like, "All right, can you go to the center of the block and park?" And I was like, "Okay." And then he just takes off, and he's like, "Just wait until I come back." He just takes off, and he comes back and has this big bag, but I don't know where he went. The whole time I'm sitting there thinking, like, you know, oh man, I could get blocked in on this block, he's gonna rob me, whatever, but I just stayed there. And he comes back and he's got this big bag and it's full of metal or something, and he puts it in my back seat and he just climbs in the front. And then we go, I was like, all right, that was a little weird. I didn't ask him what it was. He didn't really say anything. We go to the next stop, still another pitch black, dark city block, about maybe only 4 or 5 blocks away from the other one. He does the same thing, park in the middle of the street, I'll be right back. Didn't want me to know where he's going, apparently. And this time he comes back with another bag, and this time the bag doesn't have any sound to it. He just sets it down in my back seat and climbs in the front. So now we're going to our final stop. And this is a little bit further away, so he has a little bit of time to tell me what's going on here, or what from his perspective was. So he says to me that the first thing he says is, "Oh, do you know that Tampa is called Trigger City? You shoot first, ask questions later." And I was like, "No, I didn't know that actually." And he's like, "Yeah, I was just playing some dice with my boys in Clearwater, and somebody ran up on us and had a gun and stuck it in my face and took all our money." And I was like, "Oh, okay." He's like, "Yeah, I'm about to go get that money back." He's like, "You know, that's not something you do to me. I've been around guns plenty of times, blah, blah, blah." I was like, oh gosh. So he didn't tell me specifically that we were transporting a bag full of guns, but that was my perspective on what was in that car, as he was telling me all about how he was going to get his money back from somebody who robbed him from playing dice. And when I go to drop him off at his last location, it's an apartment complex in a really bad area of Tampa off Dale Mabry. And it's, you know, 3:30 in the morning, right? It's really late in the morning on like a Tuesday night. And I go to drop him off at the apartment complex, and there's very few cars in the parking lot. But I swear to you, almost every person had to have been out of their apartment. Nobody was asleep. There were little babies walking around the parking lot in diapers. And they were looking at me like, as I was driving through the parking lot, like it was offensive that I was driving through their parking lot in the middle of the night just to drop this guy off. So I drop him off, he gets his bags out, he goes, and I get out of there, and that's the last thing I ever heard of it. But that was a really, really crazy experience.